18th, 2017 at 2 p.m. in Council Chambers. So we'll call the meeting to order, and first up is the adoption of some regular open minutes of September the 5th, 2017. Could I have a motion, please? Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Campbell, all in favor. Thank you. Business arising, there is none. Mrs. Hilson, no. Introduction of late items? No? Okay, so we need a motion, please, to approve the agenda as written. Councillor King, Councillor Campbell, thank you. All in favor. Delegations. Our first delegation today is from the Osoyoos Elementary School. I thought Richard Bayless was coming, but it's not. It's Ryan Miller instead. So thank you, Mr. Miller. And you. Taller, but not as attractive. So we understand that you and 4 of your students would like to make a presentation to us. Would you, welcome to all of you, would you like to come up to the microphone and talk about your project?
It's up to these guys, because I'm just along for the ride. I'm the bus driver.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, okay.
Still have me. I hope I get to look at it.
So welcome to all of you. Can you please tell us what your name is and what grade you're in? And thank you.
My name is Alicia, and I'm in grade 7.
Mrs. Hilson, can we have that microphone just a little bit further forward? Thank you.
My name is Alicia, and I'm in grade 7. My name is Madeline, and I'm in grade 7.
My name is Derek, and I'm in grade 6. My name is Dutch, and I'm also in grade 7.
Good. So one of you going to start and tell us a little bit about this project? Good.
Good afternoon, Mayor McCordoff and town councillors. My name is Alicia. We are thankful for the opportunity to come speak with you this afternoon. With me is Madeline, Dutch, Derek, and Mr. Miller.
Good morning. My name is Dutch. We are all very proud to stand here as representatives of a group of students at Osoyoos Elementary who are very committed to effecting positive changes in both our local and global communities. We are also part of a group of students who hope to attend WeDay in Vancouver on October 18th. While we know that you would have seen a similar video last year when another group of students asked for your support, we would like to show you this video to remind you of what WeDay is all about. Please watch this video.
Two brothers, fueled by the desire for change, had a hope the world can be a better place. They called it WeDay.
More than an event, it launches a year of actions for social change.
Disappeared on us.
There it is.
Born out of a dream, two brothers, fueled by the desire. Born out of a dream, two brothers, fueled by the desire for change.
Just give us please.
go.
Poor and betrayed, two brothers, fueled by the desire for change, by the hope the world can be a better place. They called it WeDay.
More than an event, it launches a year of actions for social change.
You can't buy a ticket to WeDay. You earn it through service.
Tens of thousands in attendance.
Hundreds of thousands watching online. Millions watching on TV.
WeDay is the movement of our time.
The We movement helps to support your passion for a better world.
It's time to stop complaining that there's nothing to be done and instead actively take steps to doing something.
Together, we can truly live we.
For everything that divides us, there is so much more that unites. Believe in the power of we.
I stand here in front of you as living proof that we can redefine what is possible.
I tried to change who I am, and I realized I don't know how to be anything but myself.
I know we all have some weaknesses, but it does not mean that we don't deserve to be special.
I was born with one finger on my left hand and a lower leg that was curved in. And this hasn't slowed me down at all.
WeDay is all of you, the few, the dedicated, coming together to change this world tonight.
Some people don't think it's cool to help others. Personally, I think it's the coolest thing in the world.
WeDay was phenomenal, and I've never experienced anything like this before.
WeDay has changed my life. Like, I'm so impacted, I can't even describe to you. I'm so excited to get started.
Are you ready to change the world?
You guys are awesome, WeDay!
I guess that gets you inspired to go again this year, right?
Yes. My name is Madeline. 1 year ago, a few of our classmates came to speak to you about WeDay. They requested that you financially support our efforts to go to WeDay to lead into a year of students taking a positive initiative in our school, our town, and our world to make positive changes. As we heard Craig Kilberger say in the video, WeDay is not a one-day event. It is a year-long commitment to taking positive action. We speak to you today as students ready to make that commitment, as well as on behalf of many others ready to make that same commitment.
Last year, with the help of your generous support, a group of Osoyoos elementary students did go to WeDay. They had an amazing experience and came back inspired. They came back not only inspired to undertake positive projects, but they came back prepared and excited to inspire others, including the four of us. As we speak to you today, we do not know if we are students that will be selected to go to WeDay, but we are prepared to either go and come back to inspire others or to see others go and be inspired by them.
After students came back last year, a number of positive projects were undertaken. Many students contributed towards a school-wide initiative to recycle batteries, as WeDay partnered with the company that provides an essential safe tablets to children in developing countries for each power recycle. We were able to collect and recycle close to 1,000 items. It is empowering to know that our commitment has changed lives of children in developing
There are also fundraising and awareness campaigns run by student groups and individuals in support of Children's Hospital in Vancouver, the Osoyoos Food Bank, facilities for our own school, the SPCA, and the anti-bullying in the South Okanagan Women's Shelter. It is good to know that through our contributions and actions towards our community, that our efforts do have positive outcomes.
Through these events, the students of Osoyoos Elementary have come to see a larger worldview and understand that Through our actions, we can make a positive change in this world.
It is rewarding to look back and see all our school community has done, but today we are more excited about looking forward as a group. We are strongly committed to being actively involved in positive action toward our local and global communities. We have each been inspired not only by the Mean to We philosophy, but we have been inspired by our older schoolmates who have gone before us. Now that we are some of the older students in our school, we eagerly take on the responsibility of providing leadership to our younger schoolmates and teaching them the power they have to effect positive change in their local and global communities.
Even though we have plans, part of the excitement this year will be in discovering new passions that will inspire us and our schoolmates.
We have 2 requests of Town Council today. We are respectfully asking for your financial support to assist our families in school with the costs of the WeDay trip for our school group. With the expenses of accommodation, transportation, and food, the WeDay trip is quite costly. The help that you could provide with these expenses would be very helpful and much appreciated.
Also, we are requesting the use of the town bus for October 17th and 18th. Last year, Town Council was generous enough to grant the use of the bus for the WeDay trip by using the town bus. The WeDay trip organizers were able to avoid booking a big yellow school bus through the school district. Use of the town bus has 2 primary benefits. First, it greatly reduces the cost for our WeDay trip organizers. The big yellow bus has several costs of its own associated with it, so the smaller town bus allows us to avoid those costs.
Also, the smaller bus allows us to significantly reduce the carbon footprint of our trip. The big yellow bus can carry more than 70 students, which is very wasteful for our group of 14 students and 3 chaperones. We feel that as a group who promotes social responsibility, we want to be able to demonstrate social responsibility with our transportation. We would appreciate very much if Town Council would grant us the use of the bus for the 2 days of the trip. Thank you for your consideration of our requests.
Well, thank you very much to all 4 of you for expressing that so well. And we have had groups come before council every year for quite some time. So we do understand what you're doing. May I ask, I saw in the video that you had some very world-known people that were at the WeDay last year. Do you know who any of the guest speakers are this year?
We don't know it yet.
You don't know yet. Okay. Well, I'm sure it'll be exciting. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Having attended WeDay myself and having my kids quite involved in not just the event but going to the camps in Ontario, I'm a huge ambassador of this program. I think it sends a great message to the kids, and they bring it back to the community and show some leadership and have an impact. Now, if the bus is available, I'd like to make a motion that we can offer the bus. But Mr. Miller, is there a specific ask financially that you're looking at?
Well, in the years past, we've asked for $500.
Okay.
If we do know what we gave last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was 500.
No, it was 1,200.
It was 1,200. 1,250.
Plus the use of the bus. So it was $1,250 plus the bus, but they provided their own insurance on the bus.
Well, if it's
sorry, do you want to check with Gerald to see if the bus is available?
Okay. You have checked, or you're going to check?
I don't know if you've already booked. No, we haven't.
Okay, well then I'd like to make a motion that based on the bus being available, that we grant the $1,200 that we, same as last year, use of the bus, with the school looking after the insurance for the bus.
Councillor Rhodes, did you want to second that, or did you want to speak after? Okay, go ahead. So Councillor Rhodes is seconding that motion. Go ahead, please.
Just for clarity, that's 1,250 or?
Yes.
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 Okay. I'd just like to say My happiest moments on council are when young people from our community come and speak here. Thank you very much for coming. You guys were just absolutely awesome. It's incredible how well spoken you are and how you got the point across. It was absolutely perfect. So, way to go. Thank you very much.
And we hope the four of you get a chance to attend as well. Councillor Youngberg, did you want to speak?
Thanks, Mayor McCordoff. Okay. I just wanted to say congratulations to all of you for accomplishing something that's been very difficult in my life as public speaking. So you've done a great job, and good luck to you, and I hope you're successful in the selection. And have lots of fun if you go.
Thank you. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Mr. Miller, what other fundraising efforts are happening to cover the rest of the cost for this trip, or does that sort of do it?
Well, that's a major part of it, because it's early in the year. We don't have a lot of time to get organized. In fact, this is 2 or 3 weeks earlier than it is, has been in the past. The school supports us as well. So the school has some money that is contributed as well to help. But as far as the actual fundraising for this, it's the students will pick up the rest of the cost.
Okay.
The students that come will pay the remainder to make up the difference.
Okay. I would urge you that there might be another organization in town willing to help again this year.
I think I might know somebody else.
Okay, that's great.
Good. Well, we have a motion on the floor to support the WeDay initiative to the tune of $1,250 plus the use of the school bus should it be available. Or, sorry, not the school bus, the town bus. Moved and seconded. All in favor. Thank you very much, and good luck. We hope you enjoy.
Thank you very much for your time. It's awesome to have your support, and as a teacher here in the town, you guys do a wonderful job, and it's a great partnership, and we look forward to continuing. Enjoy your afternoon, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want me to go buy the lobster?
Okay, next on our agenda is Water Matters, and this is the Water District's 8 and 9 financial accounts, and it's to report on expenditures from accounts payable for water councillors and council approval. So the Water District cash requirements to September the 18th are in the amount of $57,074.37 for council approval. So the recommendation is that we approve this. Councillor Ray, Councillor Morera, good. All in favor? Thank you very much. Next is a correspondence, and it's an application to reduce the minimum route frequency and eliminate certain route points from Greyhound. And we did get a letter. To me, it was rather confusing when I first read it, but I've read several other sort of précises of what it means, and it sounds like the route, the idea was to have the route completely gone that came through the Hope Princeton and stopped in Princeton and Carameus. It then went up to Penticton before it came down here. We have received letters that had been written by the towns of Carameus and the towns of Princeton. They are extremely concerned about this. I understand that the other concern is that it's only twice a week rather than daily that the Greyhound bus would be coming south from Penticton to Osoyoos. So we have been asked if we would like to write a letter, and it would certainly be something that I would endorse. Is there anybody who would like to?
Is that a motion required for that?
Do we need a motion? Absolutely.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we put in a letter.
Yes. Thank you very much. Anybody?
Can I just get clarity?
Yes.
On the top of the letter, it kind of says to reduce it to 2 days a week, and then at the bottom of the letter, it talks about reducing it altogether.
I believe that from what I've read, I found it confusing as well, that the 2 days a week would still be Penticton down here, but right now it's daily. But it does eliminate totally coming through the Hope Princeton and stopping.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. Anyway, we've have copies of some letters from a couple of them.
But it says Vancouver to Osoyoos. It doesn't say anything about Penticton in the top of this letter, under number C.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the bottom, when you look under number C, it says to eliminate Vancouver, Osoyoos, Agassiz, Manning Park, Eastgate, Town of Princeton, Headley, and Village of Carameas.
Mm-hmm.
So that says to eliminate it, and the top kind of implies 2 days a week. So I just looking for clarity.
And I agree. Mr. Romanko, would you be able to write a letter and get it clarified?
Well, we can get a letter clarified. Yes, we will write a letter if that's the direction of council. But the route that's eliminated is actually the Hope Princeton, the way they describe the, if I can just find it here, Vancouver to Osoyoos through the Hope Princeton has been eliminated. And it doesn't mention very specifically in this particular letter the alternate route, but looking at other information that I've seen is that there will be twice weekly bus service from Penticton.
The top says it'll reduce the minimum route frequency to 2 times per week to Vancouver to Osoyoos. I keep saying there's no mention of Penticton in this letter whatsoever.
Well, they didn't. It's Vancouver Osoyoos through Penticton.
None of them come from Carameas to Osoyoos. They always go to Penticton.
Oh, I realize that.
But I have taken this bus several times to Vancouver, down and back, and I've certainly appreciated the fact that that it's been available. I had an email from somebody who went last week down to a concert in Vancouver and went through the Hope Princeton, said the bus was full both ways. So I think that it probably makes sense for us to write a letter and state that we are unhappy with this. This is not, it seems to me that it's to the BC Passenger Transportation Board. They're the ones that that deal with it. I'm just wondering if the fact that BC Transit has increased some of its routes, if that has anything to do with this, and I'm just not sure. Councillor Rhodes?
Thank you. I think in our letter we need to have a little bit of sensitivity. This is not a southern British Columbia or a British Columbia issue. It's a North America-wide issue with Greyhound, and it's based kind of on the fact that if you don't ride on the buses, something's going to change, because that's how they have financial stability in their organization. And, I don't want to sound insensitive to people that are regular riders on it. Certainly it's a great service, but really it's like, so there's a bigger picture here, and people are not using the service. And, if it's 2 or 3 people a week, that kind of thing, well, it's not viable to, invest $500,000 or $600,000 in a bus and pay a driver and fuel and all the other associated costs. So the solution to the problem is to ride on the bus, and if that doesn't happen, then we'll see more cutbacks and more services removed from Greyhound.
So maybe you could change your plane.
I was going to, So I can think of a few reasons to avoid the Hope area on that highway, but I think with the weather challenges and the safety of the road conditions heading out there, it's an option.
So you're going to tell us about it?
No.
Well, fortunately, Amy's here and she knows the story, so you can't ditch that one.
No, but I mean, as far as safety and transportation, I think it's somewhat crucial. It'd be interesting to see the numbers year over year of any decline in ridership, but I think it would be a big challenge not having safe transportation in that area when those roads can be as challenging as they are, especially in the wintertime.
Yes.
Yes, thanks, Mayor McCordoff. Another area that I wish to have addressed in the letter is the freight section of Greyhound. We use the freight section a lot, and I don't know, are they going to continue with the freight or just eliminate passengers? Because through the busy seasons, the buses take the little freight trucks with them. So it would just be interesting to know. That's a very big disservice to our area because many of us use Greyhound freight. Thanks.
So, Mr. Romanko, we have a motion seconded that we would like you to write a letter and state our concerns about this, and that we certainly support the letters that have been written by the town of Princeton and the town of Karamias, who are losing any service at all if this went through. So thank you very much. Did we vote on that?
No.
No. Okay. So all in favor of writing that? Thank you very much. That's carried. Next is we're on to bylaws, and first up is the automated voting machines. Ms. Van Vienen.
This is business. Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
Have I missed something?
It's okay. No, it's just under business. This is not.
Sorry. We've said bylaws none, and now we're on to business.
Thank you. The attached letter was received from Mr. Cy Marcelli on August 21st, 2017, expressing concerns regarding election bylaw number 1332-2017. The concerns Mr. Marcelli notes in his letter are not relative to bylaw 1332, which is strictly setting out the process for general elections in accordance with the Local Government Act. The town has a separate automated voting machine bylaw which was not being brought forward to council for any amendments. Mr. Marcelli appears to feel that the automated voting machines are unreliable and there is an ability for them to be hacked. I offer the following information regarding the automated voting machines. The programming of the memory cards is done off-site in the election system and software ES&S office by programmers who the chief election officer usually does not speak directly to. Most all contact with ES&S is with the account manager who gets the information for the ballots setup, the number of ballots, arranges for the maintenance of the machines, assists in the supply order, etc. The programming is not done by anyone in the town office, nor does any town staff have the capability of doing any of the programming. The machines cannot be remotely manipulated, as they would have to be plugged into a telephone wall jack, which they are not. The machines do not have wireless capability, therefore there is no possibility of them being hacked. The memory cards are tested for accuracy prior to the advanced voting day through a series of tests done by the Chief Election Officer and the Deputy Chief Election Officer. The memory cards are handled by the Chief Election Officer and Deputy Chief Election Officer only until voting day and are sealed in the machine in front of the scrutineers and candidates if they choose to be present. Before voting starts, the zero balance report is printed off and signed off by witnesses, including the presiding election official, first voter, and scrutineers. The memory cards are sealed in the machine with the number seal, which is viewed by this and attested to by scrutineers and witnesses. They remain sealed in the machine until the final vote count, at which time it is proven that the seal matches that which was placed on the voting day. This process may change a bit now that the town is required to have 2 advanced voting opportunities. However, that process is still being reviewed. A ballot accounting is taken based on number of ballots cast through the machine and number of ballots distributed during the voting process. These numbers must match. At no time after the memory cards are sealed in the machines are the machines connected to a wall jack. The scrutineers at the voting place can confirm this. So the zero balance report, along with not being plugged into the wall and no wireless capability, would eliminate any possible chance of manipulation. The voting machines were at all times locked up and under the watchful eye of the Chief Election Officer. During the voting process, the candidates are permitted to have 1 scrutineer available and watch the process to ensure that there are no issues. At previous elections, all candidates and their scrutineers were afforded the opportunity to view a demonstration of the machines and their accuracy. This was done prior to the election with demonstration ballots from a fictitious town. The candidates were able to mark the ballots as they wished and put them through the machines. Then the candidates and their scrutineers counted them by hand. The totals were then printed from the voting machine and compared. At one particular demonstration, the numbers did not match and the manual count was redone. An error was detected in the manual count. When this error in manual counting was corrected, the balances were the same for the electronic and manual count. This confirmed the accuracy with machine counting. When a candidate entered the demonstration of the machines in 2014, a large magnet was placed upon one of the machines to see if it would interfere with it. It did not, but had it actually interfered, the machines and the memory card may no longer have been viable, as magnets typically remove information from electronic devices and or can interfere with the inner workings of some electronic devices, rendering them unusable. If any of the candidates were uncertain as to the results of the election and felt that there were a reason to distrust the accuracy of the voting machines, they had an opportunity to apply for a judicial recount, which is performed by an independent judge. No request was made after the 2008, 2011, or 2014 elections. Manual counting is quite complex in that you could have 10 to 15 or more people running for 4 spots as councillor, so there are up to 4 X's marked on each ballot. As each name is read off, 2 or more counters mark a tick next to the candidate's name in a box of 25 squares on the counting form. Once one candidate hits 25, all counts are compared. Sometimes the count for a batch of ballots must be done over and over until all counters have the same tallies. This can be very tiresome and time-consuming. After already putting in 13-hour day, this process can take several hours, and the results may not be available until 2 or 3 in the morning. While the skepticism of some people with regard to the voting machines is understood, staff can guarantee that the democratic process was followed in all elections since the voting machines came into use in Osoyoos. There were no issues with the machines during the voting process or the ballot accounting process. We have the utmost respect for the integrity of the election process and actually go above and beyond the legislated requirements to ensure the democratic process is not flawed and cannot be perceived to be anything but fair. I believe some of the skepticism comes from the processes used in the U.S. I have watched and read some of the issues through the internet and can assure you that there is no possible way this would occur in our elections. We have too many safeguards in place. Staff have looked at other automated voting machines. However, the new ones on the market do not require paper ballots. This is not a preferred type of machine, as you would no longer have paper trail, and the risks are higher, especially if a power failure was experienced during voting. Mr. Marcelli suggests in his letter that the town obtain the assent of electors through the alternate approval process for the use of the automated voting machines. In 2014, it was clear that the AAP process can be lengthy, as each name on the petition against the bylaw had to be verified, and this took several hours of staff time. An AAP process would come with a cost to the town of approximately $3,000 to $4,000 or more for staff time and advertising. Implications to the community: to return to the manual count system will delay getting the election results to the voters by several hours. Organizationally, longer vote counting process on election day. Budget: there will be significant additional election costs, staff costs increase due to the additional time required to manually count the votes. This is undeterminable until the rate for the election staff is set and is known how long the vote will take. Based on previous elections, it would mean a minimum of 12 election staff working an additional 6 to 8 hours. Significant dates: election bylaws must be adopted no later than July 13th, 2018. Sustainability: by continuing the use of automated voting machines, the town continues to move forward in a technological age. Options: 1, that staff be instructed to prepare a bylaw that will repeal automated voting machine bylaw number 1239/2008. 2, that staff be instructed to provide further information regarding automated voting machines. 3, that staff be instructed to hold an alternate approval process for elector assent on whether to continue use of automated voting machines. Or 4, that Mr. Marcelli be advised that the town will not be repealing automated voting machine bylaw 1239/2008 and will not be holding an alternate approval process on the matter. Staff recommend option 4. There have been no issues with the automated voting machines to date, and costs to hold an AAP or go back to manual counts are not justified, as we have only had 3 people express concerns over the 3 elections that have been held using the machines.
Thank you very much, Ms. Van Vienen. That was a very thorough report, and I do remember going through this before. Councillor Campbell?
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Ms. Van Vienen, as this falls within your wheelhouse, are we doing anything differently than other municipalities?
No, actually we do more to make sure everything is kept safe and kept, the ballots are in safekeeping at all times.
And aside from this situation, we have no reason to believe that we have any foreign governments trying to affect our elections?
None.
Then I suggest we don't waste any more staff time on this, and I would move option number 4.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this? All in favor of option number 4? Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Van Vienen. Next is the dog park baseball diamond options. A hot button issue. Mr. Davis. Thank you,
Madam Mayor. We received a request from the organizers of Osoyoos Minor Baseball Association to repurpose the existing dog park into a baseball diamond. Various options were presented to Council and also to the Community Services Advisory Committee. The items presented to Council for the repurposing of the dog park included a number of potential options. The dog park is well used and is well maintained by the town and the everyday users who frequent the park. They have taken tremendous ownership and pride in the facility. The park is not in a busy part of town and is relatively easy for all users to access. It has ample parking and is a large green space for the many users who have small, medium, and large dogs. Dr. Jason Barch presented the reasons why the ball diamond is needed and what potential options may be available if changes are approved. Additional diamonds are needed to accommodate a growing ball program and enable program growth for older players that need a larger field. One recommendation was converting a portion of Kinsman Park into a dog park. He listed a number of pros and cons. This area already has washrooms, perimeter fencing, and a shade structure. However, parking is not readily available, especially in the summer months. The Community Services Advisory Committee agreed that a ball diamond is needed, but not necessarily to the demise of the current dog park. In order to convert the dog park, you would have to remove the gazebo, install a shale infield, and a pitcher's mound. A portion of the shade structure may be salvageable. Another option could be to convert one or two fields at Desert Park into minor baseball diamonds. Diamond E, which is closest to the barns on the northeast side of the infield, may work well. In the past, this diamond had a mound and had some non-covered seating for dugouts. This could be the most cost-effective option that could accommodate the masses. Because the diamonds at Desert Park are relatively close to each other, fencing may be an issue. Diamond D, which is located on the east side of the infield, does not overlap any other field. This diamond would be best option if only one can be converted. The green space at Desert Park is used for slow pitch, soccer, and special events. There is room to install fencing and convert into a minor baseball diamond. Depending on the configuration, it can still be used by slow pitch. If the redeveloped minor baseball diamond cannot accommodate slow pitch, then we can use the West Bench field as part of the slow pitch league. This would be an operational issue if doubleheader games are scheduled and teams need to move from Desert Park to the West Bench. For future planning, we also have land at the test orchard that is adjacent to the high school. This is a project that could be identified in our 5-year capital budget for new baseball diamonds. In terms of implications for the community, creating facilities to accommodate sports groups and dog owners can be accomplished to assist with a more effective system. Organizational, staff involvement in repurposing and or developing new facilities. Budget to be determined at a later time if changes are approved. Significant dates. If any changes are scheduled, it would be prudent to start the work ASAP to be ready for the spring of 2018. And then sustainability. Creating and making facilities that are requested from the public is essential, especially if we have an opportunity to meet people's needs without compromising existing facilities. And the options before Council, number 1, to bring to budget discussions the costs and design potential for 2 ball diamonds in the Desert Park infield. These diamonds would be sized for minor ball and slow pitch use and include shale infields, pitching mounds, and fencing. Option number 2, to bring to budget discussions the costs to convert the dog park back into a minor baseball diamond and develop a dog park at Kinsman Park that is compatible with the current playground area. Option 3, to make a decision now on how to proceed, including the repurposing of the dog park back to a minor ball diamond, development of 2 upgraded baseball diamonds at Desert Park, and development of the dog park at Kinsman without financial information. Direct staff to bring the costs to develop the directed facilities for inclusion in the 2018 capital projects budget. Option 4, to bring all cost estimates and planning information to Council prior to budget process so Council can make a decision on facility use that will be placed into the 2018 budget for implementation. Option 5, do nothing at this time, remain status quo. Option 6, identify the development of future baseball diamonds at the test orchard by including in the town business plan and 5-year capital budget. And staff is recommending options 1 and 2. Administration is making this recommendation based on sound administrative practice of following the budgeting schedule and making a decision on program use and facility development with all the related information provided. Given the requests of both user groups, there will be a need to work the development of the identified facilities into the 2018 capital project implementation schedule. This action delays the decision on future facility use and development until March, unless pre-budget approval is provided. Administration is prepared to seek out information identified in options number 1 and number 2 in the event that council wishes to make the repurposing and facility development decisions prior to budget discussion.
Thank you very much. This indeed has been a contentious issue with people writing and sending us emails on both sides. And one of the things that council is required to do is look at all the options and usually come up with a compromise situation so that both sides, both people, the dog park people and the baseball people, are hopefully happy with this. May I ask one question before I go to you, Mr. Councillor Campbell?
Mr. My name again?
No, I've remembered your name. Mr. Davis, I'm just wondering if you could explain to us that is it possible to use a dog park for any other type of facility? And that being said, I read something about in Oliver there is a concern. Could you talk to that issue, please?
Yeah, I think that's something we didn't actually look at if we were going to use it for both in one area. Just for the months that the minor ball diamond would be used, there wouldn't be an area per se at the same spot for the dog users. You wouldn't be able to do it at the same time. And that is probably done in other communities, but I don't think it's done very well.
I believe that in Oliver they have decided not to allow that anymore because there was problems with the dogs on the ball diamonds, and so they found that the uses were not compatible.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Okay. Councillor Campbell and then Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Recorder. I'm not making a motion at this point. I'd just like some discussion and then hear some other discussion. But, you know, I keep hearing the word sides, and that frustrates me greatly. And you've heard me speak in the past about how social media can do some great things in times of need and times of natural disasters, things like that. This is one of those times where social media frustrates me, where issues become polarized and gain momentum, not necessarily with all the information. And here we are sitting here today talking about sides. But I want to go back and I want to climb up to 3,000 feet here and look at the bigger picture. 5 or 6 years ago, this town was faced with a potential school closure, which would have affected our community greatly economically and socially. That bullet was dodged, and several years later, a recommendation to close a school crept up on us again. And the school district, during some of the meetings we had, pointed back at the town and this, and mayor and council of the day, that day or this day, and said, since the last time we made this recommendation, what has been done to help drive bigger numbers into the school system, attracting young families to the community? And I believe that when we looked at that, you know, it was a tough place to sit and look in the mirror and say, what did we do? They attempted to close the school again and pointed back at us one more time, and we stated that this time would be different. And we've been more engaged with the school district in making sure we're in the know as to what the numbers look like, what enrollments look like, and what the challenges are within their budget. But on top of that, it becomes our responsibility now, or I believe it becomes our responsibility to drive young families into this community. And I think recreational sports, especially children's recreational sports, is a key driver in that. All kids are involved in activities now. When people are looking at relocating, they look for activities that are suitable for their children. So whenever I see community groups that are willing to come forward on their own time and a lot of volunteer hours to help that along or to introduce new sports or new leagues into our community, I think it's incumbent on us to become very involved in that and ensure that the right solutions happen. But I also think that we as a town and a mayor and council need to be looking at a big picture here and a long-term plan, as well as the short-term situation we're faced with today, and look at how we're going to continue in a meaningful way to add recreational opportunities for children in this town. You know, it's sad to me that this became an issue being argued back and forth in social media, and then petitions being signed, when I think there's a bigger conversation to be had here. Obviously, I'm passionate that we continue down that road of building more opportunities for kids here and driving more young families to make our community more vibrant. Personally speaking, when I look at the options here, I was really hoping to come to this meeting with a stronger recommendation based on a little more research into some of the costs and what make more sense as far as really the first two options we're looking at there. Seeing a recommendation of one or two is challenging. I think that personally, I look at the opportunity of moving the dog park down to Kinsman. I look at the costs with fencing off the playground, knowing that there's shelter there, that there's washrooms there. I do see this as a viable solution, so we can build toward the future with the ballparks up where the dog park is now. And I'll yield to that.
Okay, thank you. I certainly don't disagree with what you said, for sure. I don't think we're taking sides. I think we want to try and accommodate both, was my thinking. Councillor Rhodes, you are next.
Thank you, Member Kordoff. I don't even know what to say after that. You kind of said everything that I wanted to say, so I'll paraphrase a couple of my comments. I did not follow the social media that closely on this. I was engaged a little bit at the beginning. Personally, I feel it went a little sideways, and some of the representations that were being made were not really the way that it was intended to allow us to move forward. The common denominator with everybody involved on both sides is that we want minor baseball in our community. There is no doubt about that. I never heard one person, one comment say that they do not. The challenge that we have in front of us right now is to, first off, get rid of this darn fly. That's a little distracting. Sorry about that. We need to figure out a number of things, and I too don't think that the options that are being presented here really cover exactly what it is that I would need to help move forward with the decision making. One of our jobs, one of our primary jobs in the community as a councillor and of course mayor and staff, is to provide amenities in our community. Not only do we provide amenities, but we need to look after them and maintain them and make sure that they're safe and well used and all of the other things that go along with it. So as we sit here right now, I'm definitely leaning towards not repurposing the existing dog park and looking at a location in Desert Park, provided it provides the criteria and it's a reasonable amount of money that we would have to spend on it, because I just feel that Desert Park is really the place to do it. It has hopefully the room for 2 diamonds. We have determined that there's probably room for 1. It has parking, it has access, it has everything that we need to do that. And regrettably, some of the options that are being presented here don't really answer an awful lot of the questions that I would need. One of the things that I would like to see, whatever comes out of this in the way of options, is that we look at number 6 very carefully as well, because it's also important that we look towards the future and have that as part of our vision for minor baseball. That particular field will be filled with gigantic sausages for about 2 years. Once that project is complete and everything is done with that particular project, that area up there has nobody has spoken for it. There's absolutely nothing in our planning really to move forward with anything, and would make an excellent location for. I'm kind of looking over here to make sure that there is nothing that we're not aware of. So it would be a good idea for us to have that as part of our future planning. So if we could put that in with with our capital budget planning in the future, that would be a good plan in my mind. What we're going to do with the rest of them, we'll just have to hash that out today.
So let me see if the other councillors, Councillor
Thank you,
King, would you
Madam
like
Mayor.
to speak next?
I kind of
Did you want-
suggest the same thing. I don't know if number 6 can fit into the recommendation, or you'd need 2 recommendations, but I think the future plan and the 5-year plan is very important. There's 2 strong groups here that are both wanted and really accepted in this town, and if we can make it win-win for both, I really think it's good. And to make a decision without knowing costs is not prudent on our part, even though I don't think it should actually come down to dollars and cents, but we've always had some budget numbers to make our final decision.
Okay. Councillor Youngberg?
Yep, thank you, Mayor McCoy. All 3 councillors have some really good points, and I certainly just am really torn with the decisions that have to be made, but I do feel that the costing is a very major part of a decision for myself. And the other area that I think has to be taken into consideration somewhat is that minor baseball has been very important in Osoyoos in the past. It has come back, and it's a real major part of the activities for the youth today. And I think that having it located someplace by the high school is really important. As the students go through the program, they are older, and grade 8s and grade 9s, I think, can participate in the minor ball just the same as the elementary kids can. So to have it near a school, I think, is somewhat important. Desert Park has been zoned in, has been designated in our recreational mapping of town for recreation purposes, and I think it's a decent choice. However, as I've said, that costs are important. Dog park, it's being used. We've had a huge amount of input from the community indicating that it's obviously an important part of our infrastructure. So I think we've got some more discussions to make here, but it's a little bit of a difficult decision, but I certainly think that having it near the school is really important, whether it's Desert Park or the dog park, whatever's been decided.
Thank you. Councillor Campbell?
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I guess a concern and then a question. My concern is momentum at this point. When we're talking about kicking this ball a little further down the road and looking at the 5-year plan and everything else, it concerns me that if we're hitting a point where registration's there and there's opportunity to move and get something happening now, I think we need to come up with a solution now. My second point is that I'm hearing, so we received a letter recently from Dr. Barch, and then I'm looking at the report and listening to Director Davis, and I feel there's a disconnect in the multi-use of the fields and how they can each be used for different types of baseball. Have the 2 parties, have you spoken with the baseball organization as far as what that is, and is there a consensus or is there a disagreement on that?
Just that it was an option that was presented, but I think the option that was presented by Dr. Barsh was south or an area up by Desert Park, not the actual ball diamonds themselves, if I recall.
But wasn't there an issue about multi-use of particular diamonds for different types of baseball, and that they can be used for, a diamond can be used for 2 different types of baseball?
No. But in Oliver, they have 5 diamonds, 4 is which used by everybody, and there is a baseball diamond dedicated. That's what I was told today. So they have 5 fields.
Sorry, can I ask, 4 of them can be used for, what is the 5th one used?
Baseball diamond.
Just for the kids or for adult?
Just for the kids.
Okay.
I don't think they have an adult baseball league in Oliver.
Okay. Now, in a perfect world, if we had an area, whether it be Desert Park, whether it be where the dog park is, and we're setting ourselves up for the future to really build on a baseball program here, what does that look like in your mind as far as diamonds, how many, what types?
Well, doing a little bit of research to try to actually bring a little bit more information to this, it does take a bit of time. So I talked to somebody with the city of Kamloops, and at MacArthur Island they have probably 5 or 6 different fields that would accommodate even the small little guys, because they are that distinctive. And I wouldn't see something like that here for the size of ball diamonds or whatever that we have. But if we continue to have 150 or 200 kids registered in baseball, we definitely need a better option than what we have now. And if it was something where we can provide 2 diamonds that could be used for different fencing or for different sizes that would accommodate those age user groups, and I think we only have 2 right now. And I can't remember the exact ages, but I think it was 9 to 11 and 12 and 13 or something to that effect. That was presented by Dr. Barsh. I think that's something that we could accommodate. In my recommendations or my options, option 1 and option 2 is just to get that information to bring to budget discussions. So it would be more, detailed and to the point. And then, depending on how we can proceed from there, council would make a decision at budget, not making a decision now. That's not the intention of 1 and 2. The intention is to get the information and bring it to budget.
That I understand. I guess that's one of my challenges as I've been giving this a lot of thought. And being a hockey puck, I'm trying to understand how the different types of baseball work. And there seem to be different opinions on that. My concern with moving option 1 or 2 into a lengthy budget process is that we won't be ready in time to take on the next season. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Mr. Emenko, when is the next budget meeting? I think it's fairly soon. I think it's in October.
Well, we don't actually start the formal budget process till November. But in the report, we also tell council that if you want the information before budget to make a decision, a kind of a pre-budget decision, we will get the information. This report was kind of brought to kind of test the waters. Does council want to make a decision without the financial costs, or don't you? Where does this sit right now? But Mr. Davis, he's done some research already. It's just a matter of trying to take a look at. We were waiting for engineer oversights in terms of laying out ball diamonds and things like that, and all that takes time. And so if council directs us to bring back find kind of more concise figures and configurations, we'll work towards providing that as quickly as we can based on what kind of engineering help we can get and what kind of costing we can get from other communities.
And moving one of those 2 options would trigger that process?
Moving options 1 and 2 with that information delivered by an earlier date, I think.
16th council meeting? October 16th council meeting?
See, we're kind of tied to, like, we're trying to work with an engineering company to get the oversights, the layouts of the diamonds, and I don't know how quickly we can get that. But we would try and have it back to you as soon as you can. If it's the October 16th meeting, I think we can probably work towards that. Right.
That sounds like it would be advisable. Councillor Youngberg, then
thank you.
Rhodes.
Did we just sort of jump over the fact that Mr. Barch was indicating a shared use of the dog park and creating diamonds? Are we skipping over that, or will that be part of the information that you're going to bring back?
I didn't read it that way. I read it as well. I did. I read what you're talking about, but I don't think it was shared at the same time. It was a matter of the dog park not being a dog park during baseball
That's right.
season.
But the costing of creating that is what I'm interested in. If you can actually create the ball diamonds as part of the dog park, and yes, the dog park users would have to be out of there from whatever he indicated from May until July, but they can use Kinsman Park. It isn't like they don't have any place to go.
So with that, if I did get the numbers to convert the dog park back into a ball diamond, that would cover that, because that's what you would have to do.
Oh, I see.
Because you would have to remove the gazebo, you would have to bring in shale, you'd have to, do whatever you need to do to make it a ball diamond, and then when the ball season is done, the dog people would use it again.
Oh, I see. But there would be disturbance of the items that are
that is correct.
already.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a cost either way. If 2 ball diamonds were able to be put into Desert Park, would that be enough for what is being asked?
Right now, they have nothing. So I think anything would be better than nothing at all.
Okay. So there's nothing that they use, and then what about, there's nothing available on the school grounds? I'm talking about the elementary school. That's not a possibility either. Has it been looked at?
Well, that hasn't been looked at, but I'm not sure that would be a viable solution for local baseball either.
Okay.
But that has never been discussed, no.
I just did a lot. I went, when I was a teacher, I did a lot of traveling around to other schools doing accreditation, and I was absolutely amazed at how much space this school district allows for recreation. None of the other, and I bet there were 10 in a couple of years of different communities, had anywhere near this amount of field, and I just wondered if that was a possibility, and it may not be, and I don't know because it's a different ownership. Now, Councillor Rhodes, you were next.
Well, in hindsight, I guess after hearing all the comments, I can see your logic in recommending option 1 and 2. I think it pretty much covers everything that we would need to move forward. I think the emphasis has to be whether we can put 2 ball diamonds in Desert Park. And certainly option number 2 covers some of the other recommended choices that we may have. And this way we'll get costing. And I do think that it's imperative and very important that we have a target date, and that being to have them established for the season next year in 2018. So I'll make a motion based on options 1 and 2.
I'll second that.
The wording on.
And your suggestion was to include number 6. Are you including that or not?
Well, if of course, yes, unless you want a separate motion for it.
Could we do 1, 2, and 6?
1, 2, and 6.
Does that make
But
sense?
6 wouldn't have to be done by the middle of October.
No, but just to keep it on the books is what you mean.
Yeah, there's no wording in the motion for a target date at all.
No.
I think it's. I think it would be important that we would take that test orchard location and see what we can make out of it, because that, that may be a longer term solution when you do phase 1 now, and then phase 2 could be the test orchard initiated once we're completed with the public works use on that particular area. So we can try and in terms of the test orchard, the next steps with that, it's just a matter of seeing can we lay out more than 1 ball diamond on there? Can you lay 2? Can you lay 3? And we would do that. And so what I'm hearing from the motion is that basically bring back all the information as quickly as you can with a direction for the October 16th meeting, if at all possible.
Right.
Yes.
So I'll reword the motion to include 1, 2, and 6.
Okay, and you seconded that? Is there that? Yes.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with putting 6 in there, to be honest with you. What we're looking for is a solution so we can start a league up within a matter of months, and I don't know that 6 is addressing that. 6 is more of a long-term process to look at what we can do down the road as far as using that for recreation. What I don't want to do is have staff spending time on that right now when there's a lot of information to look at options 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think all we would do is for that is just to provide a sense of comfort about what the development potential was. We wouldn't cost it out or anything like that, but to say if minor ball, here's one solution. 2 years down the road, here's potentially there may be an opportunity to create a great ball facility in that area, but we don't know because we haven't explored it. So, but we would only explore it from a positioning if diamonds could be built there. That's all.
Okay. Councillor Rhodes, did you have something else? Yeah.
Well, I was just going to mention that I have a level of comfort of putting number 6 in there simply because it gets it into our 5-year capital budget planning. And it comes without any criteria to do anything. And I think that's important because if minor baseball takes off and we have 200 or 300 participants in our community, the sooner we get to work on that, the better, but I don't see it interfering with the main goal or objectives at this point.
I agree.
Good point.
Yep, I agree with that.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to deal with 1, 2, and 6. 6 being a long-range plan, but 1 and 2, the dates would be as soon as possible, by the 16th of October, we hope. Is that correct, Miss? Okay. All in favor of that motion? Against? Thank you very much. That's carried. Next is the Canada 150 tree. Mr. Dinwiddie.
There's the tree man.
Thank you, Mayor Corda. In June of 2017, Town Council asked the Operational Services Department to research into the purchase and placement of a large coniferous tree in Gyro Park to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Canada's Confederation. The results of the Operational Services Department research is as follows. Tree nurseries we've contacted suggested that either a blue spruce or a Colorado blue spruce would be the variety of tree most likely to grow and flourish in the sandy soil at Gyro Park. There are a couple of options. We can get a 20-foot blue spruce, which is currently in the Lower Mainland. It will cost $2,200 plus shipping, and the shipping is estimated to be $1,000. This price does not include the planting of the tree, which would be undertaken by the Operational Services Department. The tree's name is Fat Albert. The other option is we can get a 15-foot Douglas fir, which could grow in the sandy soil and could eventually get the height of about 350 feet. Is available at Grand Forks for about $500 plus delivery. Once again, it does not include the planting of the tree, but Operational Services would take care of that. We also explored the possibility of relocating an existing larger tree in Gyro Park from where it is currently is kind of by the museum parking lot area to relocate that into the area which we wanted to put the Canada 150 tree. Unfortunately, that is not a practical solution because no contractor in the Okanagan Valley has a big enough tree spade to be able to do this work. Because you need a very large tree spade, and nobody has one of these things. So the option, like I said, the options for council were just to try and to decide, to give us some direction as to which type of tree you would like us to plant, and if you would like to continue with this project or abandon it, or.
So did you mention the 8-foot Douglas fir from Oliver for $89?
Well, actually, we found a better one. We found, like we said, we found a 15-foot Douglas fir.
That's in Grand Forks?
That's in Grand Forks.
And how much was it?
And it's $500.
Yeah. Plus delivery.
Plus delivery. And now the delivery would be substantially cheaper because it's only in Grand Forks. Mm-hmm. So we could probably get it delivered for about $200-300 or something like that.
Well, I was all in favor of the 8-foot Douglas fir for $89.
You can get the 8-foot
shopping local.
Yes, you can get the 8-foot Douglas fir. We can go pick that one up. Really,
this is his baby. Let's let him.
Okay, Councillor Rhodes, what do you feel about this?
Well, once again, when you head off on these projects, you think that they're going to be easy and you can just kind of snap your fingers and trees will appear everywhere. But life in certainly trees is never that easy. So the question that I have, and that'll be much easier, can you stop the growth of those things?
No.
Like you couldn't climb up at it when it's 100 feet and cut it off and stop it from growing? I mean,
well, you could top it, but then it wouldn't look very good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 300 feet is pretty.
The Douglas firs can grow that high.
That's over 100
How
years,
long would that take for it to grow?
A couple hundred years.
Oh.
All right, well, it's not in our lifetime, so why are we
So we're going to
worrying?
plant it next week, and by Christmas it'll be 300
No.
feet?
No, it'll be 15 feet.
Let our grandkids deal with it, okay?
About a foot a year.
Yeah, that makes the decision a lot easier. I would definitely.
New council 20 years down the road, CJ will cut it down, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
And use it for firewood.
I could.
So,
I kind of like the 8-foot local and all.
8-foot local one?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that too.
So I would make that motion.
Well, second if I want a discussion.
okay, so Jim?
I can see the idea of supporting local, but 8 feet doesn't really make any statement, and it's
not a very big tree.
I think it would die personally quite fast. I could support the 15-foot for the 500. To me, makes a lot more sense. When you plant it, it's taller than the average guy can reach.
Yep.
So
the 15-foot would be a more impressive. You know, if you're going for the Christmas tree look, the 15-foot is a little bit more impressive. I have pictures if you want to.
We'd like some lights on it, too.
Yeah, for
Like
Christmas.
8 feet for
Absolutely.
$89, a
15
15-foot, double the size, and
Yeah.
and you're spending, 6 times the amount.
I know, but it looks like a
But I'm
Christmas
gonna-
tree already.
I'm going to agree with Councillor King, and here's why. Where this is going to get some attention is when we plant it and what it's for. And to have a tree a tree as tall as Jim there.
Well, a little bit taller, but.
A little taller. Doesn't. I expected this project to cost $1,000 at least. I don't think we need to go the route of the 2,200 plus 1,000 and so on. But we do have a motion on the table. But my opinion is that we should probably look to the Grand Forks tree.
So that's a friendly
amendment.
A friendly saying, I'm not voting for your motion.
You gotta
We'll have to vote yours down first.
Vote this down and then do a new one.
So anybody else want to talk to the motion? It's been moved and seconded. Go ahead, CJ.
So how fast do these things grow?
Not very fast.
A foot a year? Or?
Yeah, maybe. They tend to be quite slow growing. We have to make sure that we'll fertilize it properly and make sure that it gets plenty of water and stuff like that. And assuming it doesn't get attacked by vandals, it will grow maybe a foot or two a year, but not very quickly. It'll take a long time for it to get big.
I mean, 8 foot's not even challenging to climb.
No.
One of the
8 foot somebody's Christmas tree.
One of the things that we have to
It would be going.
be budget conscious about before we abandon the 8 foot mini Douglas fir. We also are wanting to surround this with some kind of a barrier and a notification that it is the Canada 150 tree, so there will be costs attached to that. And the barrier would be intended to not only protect the tree, but to showcase it. And let's not forget that the main motivation for doing this was for a Christmas
Community Christmas.
Yeah,
So
community
you want power to the tree.
Yeah, we light up, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And although when we did the site visit, it didn't seem that complex. It seemed to be power fairly close by, but it doesn't matter whether it's an inch or 20 feet. It's all, it's all work and cost. So I could see it exceeding well over $1,000 at the end of the day.
To do that.
And then we're going to have to replace the lights when people take them.
Yes,
The-
there is no doubt.
The Christmas tree that was cut down every year up in the forest and put it where the lights are at the foot of Main Street right now, there was a big hole in the ground that had something put in it when it wasn't being used. So the tree would get put in there, and it was lit up for the month of December, and then it was taken off and used for firewood or something. But the Christmas lights that were put on it, now it was quite a tall tree, it was 80 feet or something like that. The Christmas tree lights that were put on it started at 10 feet and went up.
Yeah.
Because if they were lower than that,
The
they
lights would disappear.
Yes, be taken. So it was a kind of an odd-looking Christmas tree because the first 10 feet had nothing, and then...
So on an 8 foot tree, we do lights on the first top 2 feet.
Well, I was going to say,
Just start on top.
we'd save a lot of money on lights on the Charlie Brown tree from
That's
all
true.
of it.
I'm prepared to abandon my motion.
That's a total.
Do we vote it down, or can you abandon
make
it?
a new one.
Can we, hang on, how do we deal with this, please?
Well, you can either just vote it down, or, I think that's the easiest, because it's on the books now.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we go with option number 3, or the third bullet, with the 8-foot Douglas fir. All in favor? Against? That was voted down. All right, who's going to make a new motion?
Well, I'll just substitute that with that new
The one from
tree and-
Kermias,
and
or from Grand
Grand
Forks?
Forks.
The 15-foot Douglas
Yes.
fir?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you seconding that, Carol?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, okay, any more discussion on that one? Okay, all in favor? Thank you, that was carried.
Thank you.
So you will get on to that,
Yeah,
Mr.
we
Dinwiddie?
can order the tree from Grand Forks. I'm not exactly sure when it will be
Will it be
here.
up and for Halloween?
It could be, potentially,
Okay.
for that.
Thank you very much.
Do we need any discussion about funding, or is that 150?
Yeah,
No, we'll either take it out of the community development budget, or
Environmental
Isn't
one.
there?
there is money left in the community development budget.
okay, thank you. Now, the next item on here is the award for the contract for office renovations, which is why Mr. Dinwiddie is dressed up fancy today. Go ahead.
Thank you, Member Korthoff. So as background, the current operational services building was constructed in 1988 and has received only minor upgrades over the past 29 years. The proposed office renovations will include the creation of a separate washroom, locker room for female staff, a larger lunchroom to provide adequate space for operational staff meetings and lunch breaks, a separate meeting room / office for the Director of Operational Services, and improved building energy efficiency with the installation of new windows and an upgraded heating and cooling system. This project was originally tendered in August of 2016, and all 4 bids received exceeded the allocated capital budget at that time. The budget was adjusted in 2017 and retendered in July of 2017, but no bids were submitted. As a result, the Operational Services Department and the project's architect, Micklejohn Architects, contacted various local general contractors and encouraged them to submit bids on this renovation project. 2 general contractors have now done that. They've submitted bids with the results shown on the attached bid analysis. It should be noted that no local Town of Osoyoos contractors were willing to provide the Operational Services Department with a quote for this project. The implications for the community are none. Implications organizationally is the Operational Services Department will be able to accommodate any potential future staff growth. For budget-wise, the bid submitted by Maxim Constructors is $2,777, or 1% below the approved capital budget for this project. Significant dates: Maxim Constructors would like to begin the project in October of 2017 so that it could be completed by December of 2017. Therefore, this contract should be awarded as soon as possible. Sustainability: the installation of energy-efficient lighting, heating, cooling, windows, and appliances will reduce the Operational Services Department greenhouse gas emissions. The options before Council are: 1, the Council award Operational Services Department office renovation contract to Maxim Constructors. Option 2 is that Council award the Operational Services Department office renovation contract to Plan B Contractors Limited, Inc. Option 3 is that Council instruct Operational Services to retender this project. Or option 4 is that Council requests additional information prior to making a decision, and the administration recommends Town Council adopt option number 1.
Thank you very much. Yes, Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Member Korthoff. So my understanding is this falls 1% under what we budgeted for?
Yep.
I mean, the project itself to me is, and I always feel this way no matter what industry I'm working in, is that we provide a level of comfort for our staff, and if that means having the proper change rooms and an adequate area for lunch, I always believe that having that type of environment certainly is good for morale, and morale creates more productive people. So I'd be comfortable moving option number 1.
Thank you. Yes. Are you seconding that motion? Yes. Thank you. Did you want to speak to it?
Yeah. Just to ask a question, Maxim Constructors are not a regular vendor to the town, and I've not heard of them before. Are you
no, this is the first time they've bid.
Yeah.
They're out of Kelowna. I've asked our architect to check them out. He has had meetings with them. He's never actually dealt with them on a project. He has heard nothing bad about them. He hasn't heard anything spectacular about them either, so they're kind of an unknown quantity. Plan B Contractors, on the other hand, our architect has worked with them. They did do some work. I think they renovated the IKEA store in Kelowna, and they did fine work there. Now, Plan B is they're slightly more expensive, but I can't tell you which one is better than the other.
Do you think that that experience with our architect that they had Plan B, do you think it has a dollar value attached to it?
Well, like I said, the architect said that he had worked with Plan B in the past and that they did very good work. So his recommendation, if you had to choose, if price wasn't an issue and if you had to choose between the two, he would probably pick Plan B because he has experience with them. But that's not to say that Maxim can't do the work. It's just that he has no experience with them.
It's just that they're an unknown entity.
Yep. But like I said, other people have said that they've done fine in various other projects they've done.
I'm assuming from your recommendation that you have a level of comfort with them.
Yeah, they seem to be knowledgeable. They did send When we had site meetings, they came to the site meetings when they were supposed to. They brought the people they said they were going to. I've talked to a couple of their people. They seem to know what they were talking about. They seem to understand the scope of the project. I have talked to them at length and said, okay, you sure you can do it for this amount of money? Are you comfortable that, because I watch a lot of Home and Garden TV, and there's always extra costs and renovations involved, and I don't want that to happen. So I was hoping, I was trying to get a sense of comfort that they could do this work, and they seemed to think that they could. So
that's good enough for me.
Well,
How far over budget is Plan B?
About $6,000 to $8,000 more than maximum.
Right.
It's right
It
here.
would be over what we budgeted for.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It would be over what you budgeted for if you went with Plan B. Plan B also, what I'm a little uncomfortable with is in their bid, we asked them to include the price of appliances. They did not, in either one of the bids, include the price of appliances. Now, I don't know if they're just not going to buy them for us, or they're not going to give them to us. If the price is going to be more expensive. The bid from Maxim included everything, so I'm a little more comfortable with the fact that they did include the appliances. Plan B had a couple of options on how to save costs. They were we were asking for 6 light tubes. They were going to put in 3 bigger light tubes. I don't know if the 3 bigger light tubes would really, in theory they gave you the same amount of light into the building, but I don't know if they would be practical to only have 3 where we were going to have 6 kind of spread out a little bit better. So Maxim did come up with a cheaper design for the shower. There was the shower that we had originally spec'd is, I don't know, the Binford 1000, and they said, well, if you go with the Acme 2000, it's $1,300 cheaper. So they did look around and they did try and find cost savings. So I thought that was a good for Maxim to be able to do that. So
it's a weird name.
So you're comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor to go with option 1, which is Maxim Constructors, and I'm assuming you want this passed today so that you can get them in the door tomorrow?
Well, they won't be in the door tomorrow. They'll be in the door, like I said, the beginning of October.
It's that, or he's got to rent another suit. So
yes, exactly.
That could be.
Can't afford that for the next council meetings.
All right. So all in favor of the motion? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Maybe that made a difference wearing the suit. So there you
Absolutely. I'm going to wear a tie next time.
Might get you a skylight.
I have that now.
Okay, next on the agenda is the Lual Orchard Limited Northwest Sewer request. Mr. Amenko.
Thank you. From 2009 to 2011, the town of Osoyoos constructed the Northwest Sewer Project to enable the receipt of residential septic from properties to the north head and along the west side of Osoyoos Lake. The attached policy, Public Works 013, identifies the charges to add on to the sewer system and identifies capacity allotments that were provided to future development in the service area. The attached policy notes that the future development would pay the amount of $23,790 for each of the additional services. Attached is a request from Lual Orchards Limited, LOL, requesting 4 of the 5 services that were allotted to their property. Lual Orchards is requesting that they pay only the $8,000 fee that was provided to a single property service at the time the Northwest Sewer Project was completed. LOL has paid the town $8,000 for the first sewer service, is now seeking council approval for another 4 lots at the $8,000 rate. This request is based on an assertion that LOL provided the town right-of-ways over LOL property in exchange for the reduced service of $8,000 per future parcel. I have contacted True Engineering representative Steve Underwood, who led the Northwest Sewer Project and the easement negotiation. He disagrees with LOL's suggestion that there was a deal that would provide LOL reduced sewer services access rates in exchange for property right-of-ways. Mr. Underwood states that the deal was that the sewer service through the LOL property would be aligned to LOL benefit to enable future LOL property subdivision. The sewer on the LOL property was placed based on an alignment provided by Focus Engineering, which was hired by LOL. The scenario presented by Mr. Underwood has the support of the following key principles that guided the development of the Northwest Sewer and Town Administration. 1. Council-directed policy identified future new development is required to pay the full fee. 2, True didn't have the mandate to offer any lower-priced service, therefore any reduced hookups would have had to have the approval of council. 3, any condition of offers provided would have placed into a legal agreement. 4, any provision of reduced services to a new development would be considered assistance to business, which is contrary to the community charter. The right-of-way agreement is the legal agreement signed by the DeMellos and registered against their title. The agreement doesn't provide for any reduced fees or replanting of trees. The agreement does restrict the DeMellos from planting trees on the right-of-way. In terms of implications, no community impacts, no organizational impacts. Budget, the sewer accounts would see a decrease of $63,128 if council approved the $8,000 per unit rate as requested. Significant dates, no dates were identified, but subdivision application is currently in process. Sustainability, no sustainability issues. In terms of options, 4 options are presented to council. 1, council approves the DeMello request and grants an additional 4 northwest sewer hookups at a rate of $8,000 per unit for the property identified as PID 025-622-994. 2, council denies the DeMello request for a reduced sewer service hookup rate and directs the administration to charge the hookup at the rate of $23,790. 3, council denies the DeMello request for a reduced sewer hookup rate of $8,000 and grants the hookup at another rate below $23,790. And 4, council requests additional information prior to making a decision. The administration recommends option number 2. Charging the $23,790 is consistent with council policy.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody who would like to? Councillor Rhodes?
I do have one question, but I'd like to put the motion on the floor, and I'll move option number 2 as it's worded.
Thank you. Is there somebody going to second
I'll
that?
second that.
Thank you. And go ahead, you want to speak to it?
This seems like a fairly strong claim by Mr. DeMello, or LOL. Does he have anything to support his claim? Is there any written documents, or because my memory is right from the very beginning that we would stick to the plan, and the plan was to charge the full amount for all future hookups. And I think we've been very consistent with that, with some of the ones that have come on board after the fact as well. And I'm just wondering, if there was any documentation or where this request is coming from.
Well, there's no documentation, and certainly in working with True, as they would have had to come to council in the negotiation process and asked for permission to provide for this type of a benefit to any easement. I recall very strongly the council a day saying we are not going to give any free hookups. This project will go based on what the costs are, and there'd be no free hookups. So that was the direction to True at that particular point in time, and certainly aligning the sewer service to the benefit of the DeMellos is a huge benefit, and I guess that's what Mr. Underwood is saying relative to this. So the agreement, something like that, certainly within good administration, should have gone into a legal agreement, and there's no legal agreement. Mr. DeMello is basically saying that was his interpretation.
I do know that talking to one of the other landowners who lives out there, not before this ever came up, he had enough property that he wanted, when he put in the sewer, he wanted to have another sewer outlet put in at the same time for a piece of property that was not developed. In other words, I don't even think it was subdivided from what he had. And he was told that that was not appropriate. He wanted to pay the $8,000 at that time, and he was not able to. So I do think that some of the other neighbors that are around there have just recently paid the full amount. So I do think that this would cause quite a concern for anybody out there if this was decided. It doesn't look to me like there's any reasonable reason to expect that this should have been done legally. So, did somebody else want to? No.
I was just going to make
Yes.
mention, yeah. Exactly what I was just going to mention is that everybody else jumped on board and paid the $8,000 at the time of connection. And because he was going to subdivide his, his land into more lots, he had the opportunity to connect one connection at $8,000. So he really got a bonus and probably in as a reciprocal for allowing the sewer to go past his property at that point in time. So I think that it's absolutely understandable that he should be paying the same as what anybody else would have to pay today.
Anybody else who's there.
Under our policy.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So did we have a mover? You moved it? Did somebody
I
second?
seconded.
Oh, you seconded it. Sorry. That we go with option number 2 and that charging $23,790 is consistent with council policy. All in favor? Thank you very much. That's carried. Next is notice of motion. There isn't any. So is general net payroll accounts, and that would be to receive to report on expenditures from accounts payable for council approval and payroll information for council to receive. General cash requirements to up to September 18th, 2017. General cash would be $626,583.01. Sun Bowl cash requirements of $9,674.62, and those will be approved by consensus. And net payroll accounts of $82,425.90 for information. We don't need anything more than that. Okay. And this would be a building, the building permit report. And it looks like this month was a bit of a lean month, the month of August. We just have 2 things: demolish a single-family dwelling for $25,000 and renovate an existing washroom for $6,000. So total of $31,000 for this month, but total to date, 2017 is $9,768,000, and to date at this time last year was $4,457,000. So we're still quite a bit ahead this year. So maybe there'll be some more building this fall. Do you need to have a motion to accept that report? Yes. Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Youngberg, all in favor? Thank you. And bylaw enforcement for the month of August. I was looking at comparing the hours spent 2017-2016. Traffic is down a little bit, and park issues are down a little bit. But boat trailers seem to be causing a few more problems this year. So, and a couple of the others, the property and animals, and well, all the pound is down. So there's a, our bylaw officers have quite a lot of things on the go. And parks enforcement, hours spent in 2017 versus 2016. Alcohol is down. That's a good thing. And dogs a little bit up, and smoking a little bit more, and traffic. Is that? I think that would be road traffic. So what they're talking about, their cars and so on. So that's up a bit. So I think our bylaw officers have been busy. Do you need a?
Tightrope.
Pardon?
It's tightrope.
Oh, tightrope. That's where you put something between the trees and they jump back and forth over.
No, they walk on them.
Oh, they walk on it. Okay. And it causes some concerns because sometimes they leave it up and
And also it has the potential to bark trees and that. so.
Okay.
Oh.
And then they hang their laundry on it after hours.
You better go down, Carol, the next time they're doing it, you can watch, because you'll be right there.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Do we need to accept the bylaw report for the month? Thank you very much. Councillor Campbell, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you. And now we will go back to, we got any committee reports? No? CAO report, please.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Just a few of the activities of the administration in the last couple of weeks. Starting community services. Thank goodness it's Saturday. Is starting on September 23rd. The annual pass sale ends on September 20th. That's with the 30% off annual pass reduction. We've implemented our new registration software and working through the little bugs and that we have with it, but it's moving along. Enabling accessibility grant has been submitted for installing a lift at the Desert Park grandstands, and the Mrs. D Play School will soon be operational at the Sonora Community Center. In corporate services, work continues on our bylaw consolidation and on the electronic records management, also some website updates, and we did the lease ad for for our building on that we have here available with the exit of DO. In terms of public works, the Okanagan Corrections labor crew came back and assisted with the removal of puncture vine at Desert Park, the boat trailer parking lot, and up and down 32nd Avenue. We began installing the new water and sewer services at 5221 Lakeshore Drive. The contractor has J.W. Price has become excavating and stockpiling final cover at the landfill, so please be careful when you're at the landfill. Reinstalled the damage information sign at Veterans Park. Also, we've been working with an issue with our sewer lagoons and asking the people in the Dividend Ridge to be patient with us. We had some problems last week. We feel that our intake has probably fallen into the bottom of the lagoon, so that's what caused the smells. We do have divers coming in. Unfortunately, they can't be here till Friday. We've tried to mitigate that by switching to the other a draw from the other lagoon, but we can only go so far on the draw before we run into the same problem. So hopefully we've got that worked out for a while until we can get it done on Friday. In terms of myself, I continue to work on the RFP for the Town Hall building assessment. We were involved in business plan development and preliminary budget activities, meeting preparation for UBCM, which we received confirmation today of all the meetings. Completed draft bylaw of the fire. Completed the draft of the fire hall, not the fire hall, the fire department bylaw, and also developing a strategy for boundary expansion.
Thank you very much. Could we have a motion to accept the CAO report? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you. And on to council reports. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. Since our last meeting, I've attended the Incomape Salmon Bake fundraiser at the Incomape Desert Cultural Center. Also the other night, attended the Freedom of Municipality Award given to Chief Clarence Louie from the town of Oliver. Looking forward to going to UBCM next week. In particular, really looking forward to meeting our new Minister of Mental Health, as I think we've got an extensive report that we'd like to present and see if we can impact that area of the provincial government to the advantage of the people within our district. That's my report.
Thank you. Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Also attended Incomape's fundraiser, the Culture Center, for funding for the Culture Center, which was well represented, and a lot of business people attended that. Also attended the Economic Development Committee meeting back on September 7th, where there was two great presenters, one being Kenton Gildrich of Asthmatrique Productions, a local entrepreneur that makes videos and does a lot of website work, talking about making short stories, promoting living and working in Osoyoos. and also he's going to work now with Kelly at DO to try to put a business plan and a budget together. And the other great presenter was John Sutherland from Okanagan Film Commission, which was looking for ideas around sites for him to put on their website for people to bring their properties forward if they want to be listed to shoot future films in the next few years. So they are putting a connection on DO's website, economic website, promoting him and how you can put your property and different things you want to put forward to the film industry. And also looking forward to the UBCM next week to talk to a few ministers on key issues we have here in town to do with education and the health specifically. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Youngberg.
Yes, thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I think I too am looking very forward to UBCM, learning some of the philosophies that the new NDP and Green government are going to put forward to us through their ministers, and absolutely interesting, and we've got some major concerns that will be very interesting to see how they handle them. So looking very forward to representing our council at UBCM for sure. And kudos to Kenton Gilchrist, who I know and worked through that little economic development program that he's put together. Great asset for our community. He's done a number of good projects for Osoyoos. And that's about all for today.
Good. Thank you. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. After my report at the last council meeting, I think I'm just going to remain quiet and neutral about almost everything.
Don't be condescending, okay?
Yeah, just a couple of things.
Just a couple of things.
I think it's very, very important that I acknowledge that the news director for Global News in British Columbia sent me a very, very nice, well-written comment email on the Smokanogan controversy. I had absolutely no idea that it would go to the magnitude it did. I woke up the next day and my picture was on the front page of the Penticton Herald, and I never intended it to go that far. She was very good. She acknowledged the negative impact of using that word on their news broadcasts, and she was suggesting to all of her reporters that they discontinue doing that, and in the interest of accuracy and reporting. So I'm very, very grateful that they did that. Just one more thing. Way to go, Osoyoos Rotary. I was not there, I did not attend it, but that lobster on the beach event was just spectacular. I've talked to several people that attended it, and everybody just absolutely loved it, and I hope the Rotary was successful in their fundraising, because it was just an awesome event.
Good. Thank you. And I understand Mark Madriga, who's a global news director, was there, and am I correct?
He's the MC.
He said that he was not allowed to mention that word, Smokanogan. Yeah. Good. Okay. Thank you. I also attended not the lobster on the beach this year, but the other things that have been mentioned by councillors. So it's been a busy few days. I'm happy to say that the problems with smoke and with the fire hazards have abated quite a bit, and it seems we're ready for fall, I think, now, although we may not be ready to accept the snow on the Hope Princeton, which we understand is coming up pretty soon. So we're not quite ready to have it go that quickly, but we certainly have dealt with a lot of heat and dryness this year, and so we'll look for a change. I think that all of the ministers that we asked to meet, and Mr. Romanko put together packages for them, requested that we be allowed to come and present to them, and we gave them information packages to look at, and I believe we've heard from all of them. So we will have a busy week next week, going to meet all the ministers and presenting what the concerns from the town of Osoyoos. So we're quite happy, and that just happened today. We just got confirmation today that we were able to see all those ministers. So we'll be busy next week. And tomorrow night there is a chronic pain management workshop, a seminar, dealing with the healthcare in the rural communities down here. One of the concerns that we've heard from doctors is that many people suffer from chronic pain. Chronic pain is anything that sort of lasts. It usually acute pain can be over with fairly quickly, and it's tissue damage. It can be repaired, but chronic pain is a little more enduring. And the people that are going to be speaking tomorrow night, a doctor, a pharmacist, and a physiotherapist, will be giving people some options on how they can better deal with chronic pain. So it is from 7 until 9 o'clock tomorrow night. It is down at the Senior Center, and the information is not only in the Osoyoos Times this week, but and on some of the local media outlets, but it's also on the town website. So if you're interested, please come and join us there. And I believe that's all that we have for today. So we'll call the meeting adjourned, and we need, thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Campbell, that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Thank you very much. Yeah, because the next meeting's